The 2017 Lamborghini Huracan LP580-2. What does that mean? Well, simply put, this is the rear-wheel drive Huracan that will definitely satisfy everyone who likes to drift and maybe those who just love a pure Lamborghini supercar. I'm Jay and welcome to Car Buzz Unboxing Reviews, and what you are looking at is probably my ideal Lamborghini Huracan. We're going to talk all about it today, and I'm really excited to explain so much to you. So I also want to thank Los Gatos Luxury Cars for letting us come on down and film this, because it's a green Lamborghini. I mean, it doesn't really get much better than this. In my opinion, Lamborghinis, they're a little more bonkers than a Ferrari. So having one that's green like this or a bright yellow, kind of like the old classic Lamborghini Miura, that to me is a Lamborghini. It should be a little more out there in comparison to a Ferrari. And we'll talk more about the interior, the exterior, but just take a look at this dashboard design. It's almost like it's a stealth fighter cockpit, and it's awesome. And you see that red switch right there? That's the ignition button. And speaking of the ignition, let's start her up. Okay, what you just heard is something that's sort of becoming kind of a rare breed. It is a mid-rear mounted 5.2 liter, get this, naturally aspirated V10 with 572 horsepower at 8,000 RPM and 398 pound-feet of torque at 6,500 RPM. And as I said, power goes to the rear wheels through a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. Now, unlike, let's say, the previous Lamborghini mid-engine supercar, the Gallardo, they came out with the Valentino Balboni edition, and that had rear-wheel drive and a 6-speed manual. But unlike that awesome Gallardo, this Huracan rear-wheel drive only comes with that 7-speed dual clutch. We've confirmed this with Lamborghini. There are currently no plans whatsoever to offer a 6-speed manual with this, which in my opinion is kind of a shame, but I still love this thing because, well, look at it. This exterior, they call it Verde Mantis. It's one of their Pearl Effect paint series, they call it. It costs an extra $4,500, totally worth it. This car does ride on the standard 19-inch wheels. There are a range of 20-inch wheels that are optional as well. But what we also get standard here is full LED headlamps and tail lamps. And notice those green brake calipers. Awesome, huh? Yeah, those cost an extra $1,300 alone. Now, compared to the all-wheel drive Huracan LP610-4, the LP580-2 features new front and rear bumpers, exhaust pipes, rear grills, and unique wheel designs just to differentiate it slightly. And I'll compare more about this rear-wheel drive Huracan versus its all-wheel drive counterpart later on throughout this review. But I don't think this car has a bad angle. I mean, it's low and wide to the ground, and yeah, it's beautiful. Now, fuel economy in this thing. 14 miles per gallon in the city, 21 on the highway, and a combined 17. So when you buy one of these things, you really don't give a crap about fuel economy numbers. It does require premium fuel, but of course you can afford it. As always, I'll get to pricing towards the end here. This vehicle weighs just a total of around 3,350 pounds. Now, just to compare, its big brother Aventador with a naturally aspirated V12 engine weighs just under 3,500 pounds. So yeah, this is a bit lighter, and of course the rear-wheel drive Huracan does weigh a little less than the all-wheel drive version as well. So let's talk performance here. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.9 seconds, 0 to 100 and 6.4 seconds, and top speed is clocked at 199 miles per hour. And this is it, that naturally aspirated V10. I love those crossbars there. You know, you just have to keep this engine in place. You got to brace it. Now, as we've seen with a lot of other supercar makers, specifically Ferrari, McLaren, they're all switching to twin-turbo V8s. No, not Lamborghini. They are still sticking with this V10. We know they're going to be sticking with naturally aspirated V12 for the foreseeable future. Those are just very good signs. All right, the interior. Let's take a look at this. They call this a Nero Ade interior. Basically, it's black with just sort of like a dark yellow, kind of fluorescent green stitching. I mean, I think that stitching just matches that exterior color perfectly. And that contrasting stitching, yeah, a little bit extra, $700. In my opinion, totally worth it. This particular Huracan also comes with the Alcantara roof lining for an extra $1,400. And get this, a garage door opener for $400. I love the way those door handles open at the push of the button on the keychain there. Look at this dashboard. I mean, this is what makes a Lamborghini a Lamborghini. The Lamborghini designers and engineers, they just take things just a step beyond. Maybe Ferrari, I don't know, it could be defined as a little more refined in some ways, but the Lamborghini, it's just, in my opinion, it's a different supercar with a different personality. And as I was mentioning, power goes to the rear wheels through that 7-speed dual clutch. It has those paddle shifters that you see right there on the steering wheel column. And I love the fact that they're big paddle shifters. They're not cheap plastic, they're metal. I love big paddle shifters. I experienced them on, most recently, the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quattrofoglio. And when you have those big shifters like that, you don't have to go searching for them when you want to change gears. And yeah, having like that red switch covering the ignition button, it's just so jet fighter like. Especially even look at those toggle switches there. And notice at the bottom of the steering wheel, you had the driving mode settings. I'll get to that shortly as well. But this is really cool right here. This is a 12.3-inch driver information display. It's high def, the instrument panel. It's great just having all the information right in front of the driver, as opposed to, say, having it right on the center console there, or even just right on the dash. This way, it makes it so much easier for the driver. All they have to do is look right in front of them, as opposed to looking a little to their right. All the information they need is right there. Now, we saw something very similar to the system. Actually, it's about the same size, 12.3 inches, HD LCD screen in the new Audi A4 that's going to be coming to the rest of the all-new Audi lineup as that automaker continues to replace its models as well. And there's a very good reason why. It's because both Lamborghini and Audi are part of the Volkswagen group. They have the same parent company, so they benefit from a lot of those same German-developed technologies. But of course, because this is a Lamborghini, it needs to be more special and stand out from the rest of the pack within the VW group. This infotainment system is quite unique and in many ways. For example, the graphics are different. It's developed specifically for a Lamborghini, because a Lamborghini and Audi, with the exception of maybe the R8, really don't have much in common. Yep, that's where the cup holders are, because, putting them on the center console is just, well, in my opinion, I don't know. I think they should be hidden. You have to understand about a Lamborghini. There's not a lot of conveniences here, because that's not the type of car it is. It's high performance. Look at those toggle switches. They're just so cool. I believe also the Ford Mustang has very similar styled switches, but these are bigger and more pronounced. All right, so let's talk some safety here. Again, every new car today has to meet strict global safety standards. For example, this one has dual front airbags, side airbags, standard electronic stability control, traction control. Trust me, you're going to need them both, especially when you have a rear-wheel drive with 500 or over 500 horsepower going to the rear wheels. There's also ventilated ABS disc brakes, front and rear. However, this has not been crash tested by the U.S. government, so there's no official ratings on that. And that's how you work the transmission right there. If you want to go in reverse, you see the lever or the little small handle right there. The rest of the time, the 7-speed dual clutch will do all of the work. Or, of course, you can put it into manual mode, and you can change gears with those awesome shift paddles. You see right there, the bottom of the steering wheel, those are the driving modes. There's 3 of them. Strada, which means road in Italian. Corsa, meaning track. And Sport, Sporta, same thing. And for a good chunk of the time, when drivers are just in normal everyday traffic, they're just going to stick to road. It'll keep the car a bit more tame. If they want to maybe go a little more hardcore, go for sport. And obviously you're going to save track for when you're at the racetrack. And then, of course, the brand new Huracan Performante, which I just saw have its official live debut at the 2017 Geneva Motor Show earlier this month. That car just set a new Nürburgring lap record. Yeah, I mean, of course, that has all-wheel drive. This is rear-wheel drive, but still, it's proof that the Huracan can handle the track. So how does it drive? Well, having those 3 driving modes certainly does help. There's also the adaptive network intelligence management technology that allows you to adjust the behavior of the Huracan's rear-wheel driving as you see fit. Now, say for an example, you're looking for thrills and fun while driving, then you'll just appreciate the slight oversteer behavior of the sport setting, which is especially enhanced on the Huracan. Now, for the true racing driver, you can obtain maximum performance in Corsa mode and with Strada mode. On the other hand, you can enjoy comfortable driving with maximum grip, and it's really just perfect for daily use or when you're traveling. And it's also good to know Lamborghini has specifically tuned the rear-wheel drive Huracan suspension for maximum driving involvement and fun. What does that mean? You can drift the hell out of this thing. Looking for storage? There it is. That's your trunk. I mean, yeah, you could drive a Huracan daily, but, space, storage space is not exactly its strong point. Now, let's compare the rear-wheel drive LP580-2 to the LP610-4. That is the all-wheel drive Huracan. Now, this car's V10 has been slightly detuned. It's down from 602 horsepower, but 572 horsepower is still awesome. And the engine has been digitally retuned to have a flatter torque curve that's better suited to going sideways, again, drifting. Now, let's compare some performance again to its 2 main competitors, the Ferrari 488 GTB. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3 seconds. That also makes it to 0 to 106.4 seconds with a top speed of 205 miles per hour. Again, this makes a sprint from 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, top speed 199 miles per hour. And then there's also the new McLaren 720S. That goes from 0 to 62 miles per hour. Those are the official ratings from McLaren in 2.8 seconds, and that has a top speed of 212 miles per hour. But again, both the Ferrari and the McLaren have twin turbo V8s. This is a naturally aspirated V10. Nothing beats this thing's sound, except for maybe, of course, the V12 Aventador. And then the Huracan all-wheel drive, the LP610-4, it goes from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.5 seconds. So slightly faster than the rear-wheel drive version, but for the most part, drivers are not going to notice. All right, so let's talk pricing here. The base price of this LP580-2 rear-wheel drive Huracan. This is actually the cheapest Huracan or Lamborghini you can buy today. Base price, $199,800. But once you add in all the extra features, plus a $1,300 gas guzzler tax and a $3,495 destination fee, this Huracan right here, grand total $222,495. And that is, I gotta tell you, that's a pretty good bargain when it comes to supercars. A Ferrari 488 GTB is gonna cost you $250,000. The new McLaren 720S, around the same price, if not a little bit more. So what do I like here? Well, it looks an awful lot like it's more expensive all-wheel drive sibling. It's just really hard to tell the difference, and that 5.2 liter V10 is still absolutely wonderful, despite being slightly detuned for the rear-wheel drive car. Now, what don't I like? Really nothing. That's about it. But I'm out of time for today. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you on my next unboxing review.